Hey YouTube land, just Jax here again, and today I have a very serious topic that I want to address. It's something that is very important in a lot of people's everyday life and doesn't get talked about enough. It is very prevalent in the LGBT and especially trans community. It's also something that affects me greatly because of those reasons, but also because of my health. For those that don't know, I've been chronically ill since I was 14, and it has been easier to adapt to it since I was diagnosed so young. But coming with that, I had a very, very major surgery at 14, and quickly found out I was very different because of that, let alone everything I've had to do for my health since then. Today is a Semicolon Awareness Day. The Semicolon Project was started as a suicide awareness project. A semicolon is used to represent a sentence that could have ended, but it didn't. It kept going on. And one way to show that you are a person yourself that suffer with mental illness, or to show awareness for the project in general, is to have a semicolon tattoo. I personally do have one. I have mine right here on my wrist, and I made mine purple because my mental illness has come to head a lot because of my having Crohn's, and a Crohn's color for ribbons, banners, and such is purple. So, and I'm missing some of my intestines, so semicolon. It's a Crohn's awareness tattoo. It is a mental illness awareness tattoo. It's it's helped me since I've gotten it. And finding the Semicolon Project on Facebook has helped me. Seeing other stories and such, and sometimes they're sad stories. There's some people that cannot cope with mental illness on their own, and a lot of that is because there's such a stigma with mental illness still, and there shouldn't be. It's the same as any other illness. It's something I get really pissed off when I see pictures and memes that say just go outside, just go be in nature, go sit at the river and you'll be okay. Nah. Like I said, this is a really hot button for me. I don't per se say that I have attempted suicide, but there have been days where I honestly did not care if I woke up. From personal things, from not being able to deal with things, from being so sick that I was tired of being in pain. That with my illness, my chronic illness, it was so daunting at times that I was tired of living that life, and went to bed telling myself if I didn't wake up, I was okay with that. And there were times where I will be 100% honest that I've taken too much medication and to numb out the mental problems instead of the physical problems, and if I didn't wake up, I was okay with that. Because I felt I didn't have anyone to talk to, because I felt that I couldn't deal with what was being put in front of me at the time. And luckily, when I was having a really bad episode, I was going through a really hard time. I was really sick, and it was the first time I tried a heavy medication for my Crohn's disease. And it was a medication that was given to me through an IV in the doctor's office. It was comparable to getting chemo. And I was allergic to the medication, and we were still giving it to me anyway, because we needed it to work. The reaction that I was having is every time I was having it, I would have extreme hives from head to toe. So before I got there, when I woke up, before I went to go to the doctor, I took doses of Benadryl, Sudafed, and ibuprofen. And then when I got there, I was given another dose of Benadryl before we even started. And I would still get an extreme amount of hives, head to toe. The nurse would see them and would wait until I said something. And then we would have to stop my infusion, give me another dose of Benadryl, wait for them to recede, and do it again. And we continued this process for up to 8 hours at some times. And the medication was still not working. I was on this medication for 2.5 years. My doctor dubbed me the 1% factor because every known side effect plus some was developed in me. He's like, technically this is a side effect, but I haven't seen it with anybody else. But I was had to start going to see. I started getting arthritis really bad. I would wake up and my knee would be the size of a grapefruit or larger. I was really skinny and scrawny at the time, so for my knee to be that large, and it would happen to my hands. I just wake up, my hands would just be swollen and squishy. I got tendonitis in my elbow randomly. Just, it was a really, really hard time. And luckily, my nurse that was always the same nurse gave my infusions. Near the end of it, she could just tell that it was draining me. And she just talked to me during my infusion. Like normally I would, take some music or watch a movie, and she kind of do her own thing. She would catch up on paperwork and such because I was always there a long time. But we sat and chatted often, but this time it was a really serious talk. And she was like, "Do you feel like you're depressed?" And I was like, "I don't know if I am. I just know that this is a lot." And she suggested on her own, she's like, "Would you be open to going on an antidepressant?" And I was like, if it would help, yes. And so my GI was in that day. So she actually went and talked to him. They gave me a prescription for one to try, and that one did not work for me. And I ended up telling her that a little while later. I was like, I honestly, I feel worse having to take this medication. Like, this medication is making me depressed having to take it. And she goes, actually, that can happen. So between her and my GI, we went through a couple of them. And I found one that worked. And the good thing was that she also talked to me about herself, that she had to be on one before. And she had what was called seasonal depression, which is the thing. Some people, it could be because of an anniversary of something that traumatic or bad. Some people around the holidays, they might not have as many loved ones as they used to, so that season makes them depressed. What have you? There is a situation where seasonal, I was going to say allergies, seasonal depression is a thing where it's just, you need them for a short period of time to get through something, and then you can move on from them. And some people have to do this, for years. They'll do them for a couple months, wean off of them, and then, and that's okay. There are people that just need them once to get through something severe. There are people that I seem to be one of these people that I need nearly constant medication. I have found recently that I accidentally went off of them. I went off a lot of my medications around the holidays. I was working too much. I was just tired and overworked, and probably when I needed them the most, I went off a lot of my medications, and slowly getting back to it, I realized that I do need them more often than not. And now being one of them times where I need to stay on my medication. And that's okay. It's just like anything else. It's taking an aspirin, it's just like taking your blood pressure medication. Usually when you need blood pressure medication, you will possibly need it for the rest of your life, just like diabetic medication. Once you need that, you need that. Mental illness is not a joke. It's not something that you can make a meme about and tell people that they're crazy. It's something that's really hard to get help with. But taking the first initial step is the most important step that you can make. My theme throughout all of this, no one is going to love you as much as you can love yourself. And in that situation, keeping with that, that means you have to do what you need to do to take care of yourself. And I know I've been there where I've just wanted someone else to reach out and to save me. I've been there many, many times. And that's nice, and that's sadly a fairy tale in this life. You have to be able to save yourself. And it's hard. And it's very hard. I'm not saying it's just, oh, okay, just talking just about my transition, making phone calls, put me in a ball. And I would cry just trying to talk to somebody about transitioning. So it is a hard step. It is a hard step. There are anonymous phone numbers that you can call. There's a lot of information that you can do without people knowing that you're doing it, if you still feel shame in this. The way this world is built, this society makes things, I understand. If it wasn't for a fluke conversation with someone, I would have never tried my first bout of medication with this. It's listed in my chart. I have depression. I have anxiety. I need things to help fix those things. That's part of my health. You have to take care of all of you. So it's not just monitoring my food and my Crohn's and this, that, and the other. It's monitoring all my medication. And I know it sounds silly, but this little pill that I'm supposed to take twice a day, I'm supposed to take it once with breakfast and once in the evening. Sometimes I take it just 2 in the morning, and that seems to be okay. But this little pill, that's what it is. That's what it is. For me, I use Effexor. That's the generic. I can't even pronounce. I can't pronounce the generic of it. But it was just luck of the draw that after a couple of different, I've tried Zoloft, I've tried something else, and they did not work for me. So I don't know who recommended the Effexor, but I've been doing this medication for the longest and have had good results. It doesn't make me instantly happy. It just monitors. I don't know exactly how it works, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not an instant happy pill. It's not. But I do notice a difference when I come off of it, if that makes any sense. So it balances the chemical imbalance that I personally have the best. So Google is your friend. Google some stuff, find a doctor, find a phone number. First, talk to somebody, do whatever you need to do to help yourself. And like I said, this might seem silly, but you never know what might help somebody. First, I'm here to help myself. That's great. Someone helped me, and now this has honestly saved myself in more than one way. And it may seem silly, but seeing someone take something to help themselves might help somebody else. I'm horrible at taking pills, so that was good. So there you go. That's it. That's all I need twice a day to help take care of myself, to make sure that I'm still here, to get through everything. Just keep swimming. Just keep dancing. Just keep going. Things all will get better. The worst has already happened. Whatever that situation is, you've already gotten through it. You've already lived through the worst. So now, all you have to do is keep going. And if you need a little bit of help, there are resources for that. That's it. No one is going to love you as much as you can love yourself. I always include my Instagram information below in my video description. It will still be there. And if you need to direct message me and I will put you in contact with something else or help you as best as I can to get you help. I know it seems silly, but sometimes reaching out to someone you might not know is a little bit easier than talking to someone you do. I understand that and I get that. So if you take that first step, I'm willing to help you out. It's a hard step to take, but the hardest step is the first step. Same as coming out to yourself, whether it's being gay or lesbian, coming out to yourself and telling yourself that you're trans. Those are hard steps to take. Whatever has you depressed, even if it's an illness of your own, an illness of a family member's, whatever has you in the situation, that's the worst step. Getting through that first step, that's the worst part. Now we keep going. We figure it out. And seeking help in any form of a therapist, a counselor. Same difference as going out to, dinner with your friends to feel better. Whatever you need to do is okay. Because you're meant to be here. You're meant to get through this. And you're meant to keep going. So keep going. Until next time, just Jax. And don't be mean to people. Be a good human. Don't shame people for needing help. No. Thanks for sticking around for this long of this video. Like I said, this is a very hot topic for me. Take it very personally. And I know people that have given up. I've given up on myself before. And I won't if I can help it, I'm going to make sure no one else does it. Thanks again, YouTube land. See you next time.